Looking for a job? Well, you better be ready to answer some questions. But don't worry, in job interviews you often get asked the same questions, and Carlo is here to show you how to answer these questions so that you show yourself in the best light even if you don't have much work experience. An interview often starts with a bit of small talk. They might ask you what you did that day. Now, don't say nothing or that you binge watched an entire season of Friends. Tell something that will leave the impression you're trying to make, like I worked out or I read this cool article about psychology. Tell something that reveals an interest or a hobby of yours and that they can chat with you about. But of course, don't lie. If you want to say that you went for a jog in the morning, then get off that couch and go for that jog. The first official question is usually simply to introduce yourself. When you do that, don't make the classic mistake and tell about your whole life from the moment you were born to this very minute. Give them only the highlights. If you have previous experiences, only tell about the relevant ones or aspects of them that are relevant for the position you're applying for. If you don't have any, tell about what you focused on during your education, what your interests are, and also what your goals are. If you've had any particular successes like awards, your own projects, or if you accomplished something significant in your last company, mention it. But I repeat, don't tell your whole life story, but only these particular highlights. The question about your strengths is a very important one, and the best part about it is that you don't need experience to give a good answer to it. What you need is a bit of introspection. Think about your successes, however small they might be, even if it's a little project during your studies that went well, and think about what qualities of yours helped you make that success possible. This kind of thinking is great because it gives you the answer. For instance, I'm good at organizing my work, and it also gives you a story. So when you tell them that this is your strength, and you also tell them that story of this project that turned out well, thanks to your organization skills, it gives them proof that you do really have that skill. By the way, if you like this video, make sure to show some love by smashing that like button and subscribing to this channel. That way you'll stay tuned for more useful tips and tricks like this. After strengths, you can bet that they're going to ask about your weaknesses too. And don't even think about wiggling your way out of this one. Saying things like perfectionism is my weakness, no one buys that. So be honest. Tell them that you're not so good with numbers, or that you get nervous in social situations, or that you're impatient. Tell them that, but don't finish there. Also tell them how you're trying to improve that, or how you deal with those situations. For example, you could say, I'm not good with numbers. It can happen that I overlook something or do a calculation wrong. But that's why I always make sure to check twice or even 3 times when I have to do something with numbers. That way you show self-awareness because you know your weaknesses, but also that you're working to improve them. Now, you might want to bring a magic ball to the interview because they're probably going to ask you where you see yourself in 5 years. Okay, that was a really bad joke. If they ask you this question, it's probably because they're looking for someone to be in the company long term and that they will invest in. They want to see that you are ambitious and want to develop yourself further, so you are worth the investment. So you might say that you see yourself having a team of your own within the company or being an expert in your field. Where you see yourself is ultimately up to you, of course, but my suggestion is show them you are ambitious and that if they invest in you, it will be worth it. And finally, they might not always ask you this one, but when they do, it can make or break the deal. Why should we hire you? This is where you have to give them a pitch of yourself. If you can't sell yourself after all, how can they expect you to sell their products or services? So think about this in advance. Prepare a little 30 or 60 seconds pitch combining your strengths, your learning ability. You can even mention your weaknesses and how you deal with them, like we discussed earlier, and put all of that into the context of this company and how they can benefit from it. Here's an example of an answer if you're applying for a marketing position. Why should you hire me? Well, I've loved marketing before I even knew what marketing was. I may not have experience yet, but I specialized in it in my studies. I regularly watch video courses, and I also like to experiment with social media marketing for my own projects. So I would love to develop myself further, and if I can do that while contributing to your company and your brand, that's a win-win situation. So there you have it. I hope this was helpful, and write in the comments if you have some cool advice of your own. That way we can all help each other. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and good luck.